Hey kids, how you doing? I hope you're doing really well. I've had a good day and hope you've had a good day too. I miss seeing you all the time, but I think it's fun to read you some Papa stories here. But anyway, like I said, I hope you're doing well and enjoying everything about life. You know what? We have another Clifford story today. And this one is about Clifford's own family. Isn't that sort of cool? So we'll get to know a little bit more about Clifford and his family. I think we've read about 3 books about Clifford, so you're probably getting to know some good stuff about Clifford. Well, let's go ahead and read. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I'll talk up pretty good so you can hear me, but I hope you can say, Papa, we can hear you just fine. So, Lily, can you hear me? And who else? Laura? Laura, can you hear me? How about Gemma? Gemma, did you hear your name? How about Parker? Parker, did you hear your name? Caleb? Elise? Isaac? Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Well, this is a story about Clifford's family. We're going to get to know his family better. And it starts out with a pretty fun picture. Look at this. They're out in the country. See the cars? And oh, there's people waving. And look at that. Oh, look at there. There's oh my, someone with their dog, but guess what? Clifford is really big. Well, this says, I'm Emily Elizabeth. Can you say Emily Elizabeth? Emily Elizabeth. And this is my dog. His name is Clifford. You recognize Clifford, don't you? Wouldn't that be so fun to go out on the roads on top of your own huge dog? I bet Emily's having a good day. She's going out. Instead of walking the dog sort of walks you or carries you. Look at that. There's not even a leash. He has a collar. Do you see the collar going around his neck? I don't even know how they made that collar. It's probably huge. So she says, I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is my dog, Clifford. Well, let's see what the next page shows. Oh, we live in a small town now, but we were both born in the city. So this is where Clifford lives right now, and there's Emily Elizabeth, and that's their house. Whoa. And Clifford's house is right behind it, and it's bigger than Emily's house, but they live sort of in the country. One day we went back to visit our old house in the city. Look at that. Do you see Emily on top of Clifford? Look at that. They're taking the freeway back to the city. Wow. So they're leaving the country. That's where Clifford lives. And they're going to the city because that's where Clifford was born, and also Emily Elizabeth was born there. Clifford hadn't seen his mother since he was a tiny puppy. She hardly got to know him before he went with Emily Elizabeth. So there he is, over in his old neighborhood. I wonder if he recognized it. Oh, do you see some of the people? And do you see a TV in the one window? Can you find the TV? Well, look at that. Oh, there's flowers. Oh, look at the people looking. There's Clifford, and he is looking over at some of the people. Well, she still treated him like a little puppy. She checked his teeth. This is Clifford's mommy. Look at Clifford's mommy. She's checking his teeth. making sure that he's brushing. Do you brush good? Does your mom help you make sure you brush good? Well, this is Clifford's mommy, and she wants to make sure he's taking good care of himself by brushing his teeth. She also looked at his ears to see if he had been washing in his ears. Look at that. That had to be a heavy ear, but she lifted up the ear and looked in there. That mommy, she just wanted to check out her little boy. Clifford's her little boy. But he's not very little, but he's her little boy. And look at Emily Elizabeth and the mommy's owner there. Uh-oh. The man told us where Clifford's brother and sisters lived. We went to find them. So now they're going down through the city. Do you see all the cars? Oh, and the people running and people looking at them. Wow. And Emily is on his back. Isn't that fun? Clifford's sister, her name's Claudia. Can you say Claudia? Sister's name was Claudia. She lived nearby. She was taking her owner for a walk. There's Claudia. That is Clifford's little sister. Isn't that fun? And she's going for a regular walk with her owner. There's Clifford. He gets to see his sister. He hasn't seen his sister hardly at all. And they're going for a walk. And guess what? They decided to go over by a park. So they're out walking. And can you see what happened? There's a taxi car with a person reading the newspaper parked right where they're supposed to go across the street to the park. But they can't get to the park because there's a car in the way. Well, we went to the park with them, and a taxi was blocking the crosswalk. You see the taxi? It's blocking the way to get to the park. Well, let's see what happened here. Oh my, I can see what happened. Let me show you what happens. Clifford took care of the car. Whoa, he lifted the taxi right up over his head. And guess what? He let his little sister go over to the park, and Emily Elizabeth and he are going to go over to the park in just a minute. Do you think Clifford is pretty helpful? That taxi driver was like, wait, I was just reading the newspaper. He was just reading the newspaper, and all of a sudden, he's up in the air. In fact, he's almost as tall as all buildings. That must have been almost scary. Next, we found his brother. His brother's name is Nero. Nero was a rescue dog at a fire station. Can you find Nero? There he is. He works at a fire station. See everybody getting ready? Yeah. Oh, and there's somebody sliding down a pole so they can go right onto the fire engine so they can go put out fires real quick if they need to. So Clifford must have been pretty excited. Look at Clifford looking to see what his brother does. I think he likes what his brother does. That looks fun. While they were there, the alarm rang. Ring, 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 ring. That means there's a fire. And the fire truck pulled out and started going over to where the fire was. And Nero rushed into the building. Look at the fire going on. And they've got the fire truck. And do you see how they've got water they're spraying into the building? And there's Nero. He's going in to help save some people. Well, you know what happened? Emily Elizabeth and Clifford came running to see if they could help. Do you think they're going to be able to help? Well, let's see what happens here. Oh my, I just saw what happened. Clifford was able to help Look at him. He leaned up against, oh, look how tall he is. He leaned up against the building, and the people that were trapped, they ran on to Clifford and got to slide down his back. That was probably sort of fun. A fire can be sort of scary a little bit, and Clifford made it so they got out safe, and they got to slide down him and be safe. Clifford is really a nice dog. Nero was also very brave, and everybody thanked Nero too. Both Clifford and Nero were really good. And look at Clifford and Emily. They're just happy that Nero, and everybody likes Nero so much. Then they set off to the country. Clifford's other sister, Bonnie, was a farm dog. He's her older sister. So they went out into the country, a little bit like where they lived. You see Emily, Elizabeth? They go out into the country. Can you see that okay? Isn't that fun? And guess what they saw? Look what was happening. One of Bonnie's jobs was to help herd sheep into their pen. On farms, you have a lot of animals, and sometimes the animals need to get in their pens, which is the fenced area, and sometimes it's hard to get them to go in the fenced area. But dogs can learn to be super good at helping the animals go where they're supposed to go. So it sounds like Bonnie, his older sister, is super good at herding the sheep. Herding means you help them go where they're wanting to go and they need to go. Sometimes in the pen they can be safe, and sometimes they can get their food, and they just need to get them in. Otherwise, they're scattered all over the country, and it's hard to feed them. Look at Bonnie. She's doing a great job. She looks happy, too. And look at Clifford and Emily, Elizabeth. They're watching. Do you see them watching what's going on? That's really cool. Oh my. Clifford wanted to do some farm work too. He started to drive the cows toward the barn. There he is. And do you see some of the cows? They need to get in the barn today. Maybe they need to get milked so they can give some milk. And there's Clifford. He's trying to help out. Isn't that so fun? He's trying to help out with some cows. Can you say the sound of a cow? Moo. Moo. Can you do it with me? Moo. Moo. He's helping the cows get back to the barn. Do you see the barn? Oh, but something happens. There's a bull, and a bull is like a real big cow, and bulls don't like the color red. They seem to just not like the color red. So here's a sort of an angry bull, and he starts to run towards Clifford because Clifford is all red, and it makes the bull get all excited and want to charge as fast as he can. He wants to run right at Clifford. But Clifford wasn't scared. He was smart. He was smart. He wasn't scared. He didn't want to hurt the bull, so he jumped out of the way. And when Clifford jumps, he really jumps. Look what happened. Clifford jumped clear over the barn when the bull was chasing after him, and now the bull is near the barn where he's supposed to be. And look what Clifford did. He jumped clear over the barn. I think that would be so fun. That would be so fun. And there's Emily Elizabeth waving at Clifford. I just think it's such a fun picture. Look at that. There's the bull. And Clifford just jumped clear over the barn. They had one more place to visit. Guess what? It was Clifford's daddy's home in a town nearby. So Clifford got to see his mom, and he got to see some of his sisters and his brother Nero. And guess where he's going now? He's going to see his daddy. The house was small when they got there, and there were lots of kids playing in the yard. There's Clifford. Do you see Emily Elizabeth on his back? And look at it's a small little house. And look at all the kids playing. Can you see? I don't know if we can even count all the kids. Maybe you can try to count how many there are. There are kids everywhere. Wow. Clifford's father didn't have a collar or a dog dish or a doghouse, but he seemed really happy. Guess what? There is Clifford's dad. And there's a little boy sitting on Clifford's daddy. Isn't that fun? There's Emily with a baseball bat. But Clifford, there's somebody even up on the roof. Oh my. And there's a little wagon with a doll in it and kids. But this is Clifford's dad. And he seems happy. I guess it was the kids. He sure loved kids. He was a lot like Clifford, just a lot smaller. So Clifford is a lot like his dad. They both love kids. Isn't that fun? It's nice when dogs really like kids. They like to play with them. Isn't that fun? Look at the kids. Do you think they're happy? And does Clifford's dad look happy as Daddy? Can you say, "Hi, Daddy"? Hi, Daddy. Okay. Well, Clifford wished his family could come and live with us, but they all had people who needed them, just as I need Clifford, the best dog of all. So Clifford was hoping all of his mom and his dad and his sisters, his brother, could all come and be with him, but he realized they need to be with some of their friends and their people too. And Emily got to hug Clifford, and she said he's the best dog of all. Well, that's the story. Hope you enjoyed it. You get to know a little bit more about Clifford's family and some of the things they do. They like to go to the park. Nero was a fire engine dog. And they also did herding of sheep. And he got to meet his mom and his dad. And they're all nice doggies. So that is the book about Clifford's family. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll get another book pretty soon, so we can read another one about Clifford, and then there'll be some other books. I love you. Maybe you want to hear me say that a little bit different. Are you ready for my special ending of my story? Here it comes. I love you so much. Bye. Have a good day.